you're listening to Service from Hell, a podcast featuring people that are currently in customer service positions or the lucky few that got out, and all of the good, bad, and infinitely, oh, for fuck's sake, and all of the good, bad, and infinitely irritating things that go along with that work. I'm actor and comic Kate Gaffney, and I am uniquely qualified to do this because I've been doing this for a really long time. I'm changing the qualifier. It's not just because I constantly work in customer service, it's because I've been doing this podcast for forever. And this is another bonus episode that fits with all of the other bonus episodes. Kate's mad about something, and now you have to listen. Well, folks, I wanted to start with thanking whomever added Service from Hell to IMDb. That was an accidental and lovely discovery that I made 2 days ago when I was looking someone up. I was like, wait a minute, they have an IMDb credit for a show that is my show. It was so wild and cool, and it was such an accidental find. If that was you that did it, listener, whomever you are, or friend, or both, please DM me that it was you so I can ask a few questions about being able to claim the show as mine, because for now, IMDb won't let me do that. It's only letting me contribute, and I have spent hours upon hours upon hours contributing names and faces and pictures and all of the rest of it of guests. And it was a weird moment of pride for me to have it on there and have it be a marketing tool or arm that I didn't do. And it's also been a ton of work in the best way, because I'm like, man, I have done a shitload of these episodes. Also, because I don't know exactly how, but this is going to drive me nuts, but it's Service from Hell is obviously the name of the show. The F on the from is not capitalized, and I have submit a name change many times, and it will not let me do it because it says for titles the F on from is not capitalized, and they are incorrect, and I'm annoyed. So if you are the one that did it, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Please DM me, or if you have my phone number, text me and just let me know, because I have some questions. So we're going to start there. Also, we are in the Olympic season, and I don't want to pass by without acknowledging that, because the Summer Olympics are every 4 years. So this is the first time that the Summer Olympics have come through. I actually think the Winter Olympics are also every 4, but we end up, they're on off. So we have Olympics every 2 years. Who cares? I should Google it, as is my constant problem. Anyway, we released the first episode. I released the first episode to give updates in 2019, but technically the show first aired in January of 2020. So this would be the very first time that an Olympics for the summer has come through whilst I was recording the show. And obviously we know Sha'Carri Richardson and Simone Biles as two of the most recognizable heavy hitters for all of the Olympics. But I also wanted to shout out someone who I've been following for a little while, Sunisa Suni Lee, who is a fellow Pisces, although she's a child. She's very young. But she is also representing for, I believe, the all-around floor, if I'm correct, or the best. She's an all-around champion, reigning all-around champion. The female gymnastics team is always the one that I pay the most attention to, because it's insane to me, because I think I can't, every Olympic athlete, I don't care if you're doing curling or if you're doing the ribbon shit, I don't care what you're doing. I could not do what you are doing. That is without question. There is no ifs, ands, or buts in any of the categories. There is simply no way that I could suit up and show up, even on my best day, if I were a brand new fetus. Like, there is no part of me that is wired for Olympic athletics. And I want to acknowledge that, because part of why I fell into paying attention to Suni, besides the fact that she's such a great athlete, and I think Simone gets most of the attention from Team USA, and the whole team is phenomenal. But anyway, is also because she has the Olympic rings tattooed. I think it's on her left forearm. And when I saw the Olympic rings, I was like, bitch, if I were an Olympic athlete, if I even made it to, what do they call it, the Olympic trials, I would get those rings tattooed on my face try me. I 100% would do that because I am not a fan of face tattoos. However, you will be speaking to me about the Olympics every time you speak to me before you ask me even what I want to drink from if you're the barista and you're trying to get my half calf, whatever the hell, who does a half calf? I don't hate myself. The fully caffeinated drink that I am getting, you're gonna notice the Olympic rings on my face, and I hope you do a double take, and then I hope you ask. I really do, especially if I only made it through the trials and you didn't see me on the main stage, because I need you to talk to me about all of the sacrifices I made to get it to happen. I'm friends with someone who was really into competitive gymnastics and then broke her back and was unable to continue. But all that she had to give it, she was on the trajectory to be an Olympic gymnast. And all she had to give up to be able to do that, only to break your back before you even make the trials. You don't ever get to talk about that again. You don't ever get to say, yeah, I didn't ever go to a prom because I was too busy in the gym. Like, that's the thing. It's like the Olympic athletes at least get a stage to shine how they're doing. It's the short stoppers. Those are the people that I feel sorry for. And that's why if I were a short stopper, even if you bandied my name about to consider going to the Olympic trials, tattoo on my face, guaranteed. That is an immediate lateral move. It's like you said my name in the same sentence as Olympics, tattoo on my face. It is such an easy choice for me because you will be discussing it with me. You will be. And I don't understand how Simone doesn't have I guess because we recognize her. But if I were any one of these athletes on Team USA, besides Suni, I would have them so visible, and you would be talking to me about them at the nursing home where I will inevitably die if I live that long. That's all I will talk about. Even if I lost my mind or if I lost my ability to speak, you better put a note on my door. Yes, she wants to talk about it. In fact, that's all she wants to talk about. So if you enter her room, yes, there's going to be paraphernalia everywhere. She never even got to the Olympics, so there's no medals, but it doesn't matter. She wants you to ask her about it. Ask me about it until I shuffle off this mortal coil, because to get to that level is actually insane. I could spend the whole episode talking about that, but you have eyeballs and you already know that these are freak shows. These are freak shows. I get dizzy when I stand up from the ground picking up a pencil. Do you understand? Picking up a pencil. I'm like, well, I need a minute. These people are flipping in the air. You're flipping. I watched Simone's qualifying floor routine, and she did some triple flippy thing, and then she landed. The commentators were not speaking during her routine. She lands, and the only thing that the female commentator said was, "That's literally the hardest move in gymnastics right there." I was just like, and she just landed it like it was no big deal. Here's the thing. You can't graduate out of dizziness. It's not like you're such a good athlete. It's like the ballerinas who are like, oh, I'm going to keep my head focused forward. You just get used to being dizzy. I was a ballerina for 13 and a half seconds. Thank you so much. I am also going to get toe shoes tattooed on, not my face because it's not the Olympics, but definitely somewhere on my body, because you need to talk to me about it, because for those were really good 13 seconds. But I would do 2 spins, and at like 8 years old, and I would be like, is that it? Is that the show? Can I be done? Can I sit down? And now I'm 100. The thought of not getting dizzy standing up excites me. The thought of doing flippity flips in the air and then landing on my own 2 feet. Shut up. Shut up. You can't do it. I can't do it. It is not possible. In fact, these are all freaks of nature. So they should be celebrated with just freak medals. I think everybody who qualifies for the Olympics and goes should get a freak medal. Besides the face tattoo that we are all going to get together, they also need freak of nature medals that they put up in their houses that you could never. You walk into their house and you're like, I could never. You're correct. You could never. You could never. So anyway, on that note, to all of the athletes that we have headed over to Paris, for the Olympics, Mazel, I don't know what to say. I could never. You are freaks of nature in the best way. May you have the most fun. May you all bang each other. May you all have so much fun. I know they did something where they changed all the beds so none of the athletes could bang each other. That's obscene. That's obscene. You think these people who have been training their whole lives, who have socially isolated from humanity for the more than half of their lives, you think that they're not going to find a way to bang, especially after they get gold medals? Shut up. Shut up. Let them do what they want to do. Again, freaks of nature. So good luck, everybody. Go Team USA. Let's now we'll talk about what what I was actually meaning to talk about. Let's get on with this show, this bonus episode, which I am actually calling the Olympics of mail theft, because it really, I mean, these people should be given an award. So those were 2 intros back to back. Now let's get on with the show. Okay. Many of you who follow me on social media already know this story, but a lot of listeners don't follow me on social media. So, but based off of the numbers, that is demonstrably true. So, for those of you who don't follow me on social media, first of all, why? Second of all, you're gonna hear it. Here's why you should. Because all I do is rage about everything all the time. Kind of my whole vibe for this show as well. I am shocked that the federal office of the United States Postal Service has no real oversight. I know you're thinking, well, she shouldn't be shocked. She is shocked. She is shocked. She is shocked. I don't understand. I don't understand. The Postal Service itself is such a wild. It's wild. So I'm just going to tell you some facts about the United States Postal Service, which is younger than most of your parents. So I think you all need to know that, because the criminals be criminaling, but boy, they've only had 53 years to figure it out. So the United States Postal Service was founded by United States Congress on July 1st of 1971. So that's also partially why this story is relevant this month, because its birthday was a handful of days ago. Its headquarters are Washington, D.C. It has 635,350 employees. And as of 2022, sorry. And it has various independent executives. Douglas Tulino is the Deputy Postmaster General and Chief Human Resources Officer, which is just ironic. He was appointed to serve as the Deputy Postmaster General of the United States in May of 2021. He will continue to serve as the Chief Human Resources Officer, CHRO, emphasizing a commitment to the Postal Service workforce and to initiatives in the 10-year plan, Delivering for America, which are designed to make the Postal Service a great place to work for all employees. As Deputy Postmaster General, Tulino will ensure the organization's culture, talent, labor relations, and leadership development are all contributing to the successful implementation of the Delivering for America plan. He will also play a key leadership role in ongoing stakeholder outreach and currently chairs the Board of Operations Committee. I cannot, because in 2005, he had 15 years of service as vice president for labor relations, and he was responsible for overseeing contract negotiation, collective bargaining, grievance and arbitration administration, and consultation with management. But who cares? None of that matters. So he started as a manager in the USPS in 1980. So they were 9 years old when he started. And he rose through the ranks of labor relations. He possesses a strong background in labor relations and human resources. You know what he doesn't possess a strong background in? Crime and defeating crime and all of the crimes. He did go to Kent State in Ohio. So I do want to shout out the Ohio connection that Douglas Tulino has, but not really. I'm not actually proud of it, because here's the thing. I'll tell you the story of what happened. So at this point, if this is all involved with the cartel or no, I better not say that. If this is involved in some sort of mob connection of some kind, I'm screwed, because I saw it all happen with my eyeballs. But I witnessed a federal crime and no one cares, is essentially the long and the short of it. You know, those standalone blue post office boxes? So I have a post office box, and it is at the Sherman Oaks post office in Sherman Oaks. And I've had it for years. I've had it for, I think, 10 years. No, less than that. I've had it for 9 years. Who cares? I've had it for a while. This year, it cost me $282 for a year's worth of getting my mail sent there. I did this because I dated a psychotic person who I needed to not have my address anymore. That is what ultimately started me having a post office box. And then I was like, oh, all of my business shit can run through there too. And when I have been gone, on tour or whatever for long periods of time, it's a perfect place for my mail to go, because I thought it was safe. I thought it was safe. I was wrong. So I've had a relationship with those people in there for a long time. There's one guy whose name I won't say because I don't want him to get in trouble. He's the best. He's been there forever. He has the thickest glasses I've ever seen on a human. Whenever I wear a Dodger cap, he talks to me about the Dodgers for 15 minutes. He's the cutest human who has been on the planet for longer than I have. I want to hug him every time I see him. He's the best. He's the only one. He's the only one left from the original crew of people who were there for years. I'm talking like 8 of the 9 years that I've been using this post office box or this post office, it's been the same employees. He is the last remaining. In the last 2 years, everything has changed there, and it's terrifying to go in because you can just commit crimes. You could just commit crimes. In life, it is so much easier to be a pile of trash person than it is to be a person of any sort of integrity or character. I stand by that. And whenever I'm thinking it would just be so easy, it would just be so easy to just commit crimes and do stupid shit. It's like, of course, I was raised religiously, so I have too much guilt and it just doesn't feel good. And that's not my vibe. And I also don't ever want to get caught doing bullshit. But I see why people steal. I see why people lie. I see why people cheat, because you can. You can get away with it. There are no consequences most of the time. Even there are murders. There are still unsolved murders. You can just do whatever you want. And you know what? Everybody dies. None of it matters, right? So this is supposed to be the part where you drive your car off a cliff because you're like, why am I listening to this? First of all. Second of all, oh, good. That positive, uplifting message that Kate Gaffney is known for is getting really drilled home tonight. But it is so much easier to be a pile of trash. Here's why. I, with my eyeballs, saw a gentleman, and that term I'm using incorrectly. We're going to call him a pile of trash. I see a pile of trash in dirty, this was the most offensive part, dirty gray sweatpants, get out of a very nice, I think it was either a Charger or a Camaro. They're all like muscle country cars that I should know the difference between because, oh my God, my friends in the Midwest would kill me if I were to not know the difference, but I don't, and it doesn't matter. He gets out of one. Now, keep in mind, this car it's a very well put together, very nice car. It would stand out in any circumstances because it's a low riding, very loud engine, Charger or Camaro. Those cars stand out. Also, on the side of the car is like a tiger's head or a puma's head. They all look the same to me. It doesn't matter, but it's a decal of some sort of cat-like animal just chewing on the door handle of the passenger side, just chewing it. And it's huge. It covers the entire left passenger side of the car, entire side. These are not moments where you think that car could just fly by and I would never notice. These are pay attention, look at me. You might as well put one of those bumper stickers on the back that's like, I got a kid in the honor roll or whatever. Like, you're getting noticed and hated for any of those things. This is something that is on this gentleman's, this pile of trash's car. He gets out with his dirty sweatpants. He puts his hood up and sunglasses on. He has a mustache that needed to be trimmed. Mustaches, no thanks. And he has a key. He has a key to the outside standalone blue mailbox. That is, it's not the one that's like off property that you like drive up to, drop your mail in and walk away from. No. This is on the sidewalk, literally right in front of the doors that open to go inside of this business that is federally operated. And he uses the key. He puts it into the bottom half of the mailbox. He pulls open said drawer, gets out those white clear boxes that say property of the United States Postal Service on them, and they're usually full of mail. That day was no exception, filled to the brim, in fact, overflowing with mail. He pulls that out. He closes the little flap door thing, locks that bad boy, walks over to his Charger/Camaro with the kitty cat on the side and his doo-doo drawers hanging half out off his ass, and puts that in the passenger seat, gently closes the door, jumps in his car, and drives away. I watch all of this. I watch every single second. And something in my brain was like, I think I just witnessed a crime. In fact, I'm certain I just witnessed a crime. So I, like Batman, because I am Batman, I jump out of my car. I get a picture of his kitty cat car, and I get a picture of his license plate because don't mess with me. And I'm like, here I go. I'm about to be a hero. This is so exciting for everyone involved, but specifically for I almost called him the king. Isn't that ironic? Specifically for the Postmaster General, because boom, you just got a witnessed crime and I just gave you all the details you need. One would think that the next part of this story is a lie, and I promise you on my own life. I am not exaggerating nary a detail for what happened next. I take the picture. I walk into said post office because I'm like, well, somebody's got to know about this. And there is quite a long line as per usual at this location because it is a busy location. I get in front of the line because I think, well, there must be a sense of urgency for what I just witnessed. There has to be. And I say, excuse me, I just witnessed someone steal a bunch of mail. And the 3 white women at the front of the line were pissed. They weren't pissed about the stolen mail. No, your thought is incorrect. They were pissed. I cut the line and I hear them go, and I'm like, really? Really? That's okay. That's such an appropriate response. High five to you guys. High five, ladies, because it could have been mail you put in there. And so then this manager comes over and tries to get me to quit saying things out loud. And I said, hey, I just saw a guy with a key to that front mailbox right there steal all your mail. And he goes, again? And I'm like, we're not on this is not a good trajectory for the remainder of this experience. And he goes, well, do you have any information? So I describe him. I'm like, white or Hispanic presenting, big old mustache, had a hood on, wearing sunglasses, doo-doo drawers hanging off his ass, and a Hello Kitty car. And I show him the picture of the Hello Kitty mobile. I show him the picture of the license plate. And I said, would you like for me to send you these pictures? And he goes, no, I'll just take pictures of them. Ma'am, you're going to take pictures of my pictures? You're going to take pictures of my pictures. You don't want me to have your info. I mean, he's right. He's like, if she's reporting crime, she's probably going to be really annoying and texting me all the time. He's not wrong. I would have been. So he takes pictures of my pictures, which is a waste of everyone's time. And then he gets my contact info that he puts on a little slippery slab of paper with a little pencil he had in his little pocket. And then he said, and this is a quote, "The Postmaster General will reach out to you." Now, at the beginning of this episode, I expressed to you that the Postmaster General, his technical title is Deputy Postmaster General and Chief Human Resources Officer, his name is Douglas Tulino, as I mentioned. Douglas lives in Washington, D.C. Douglas does not care about the stolen mail and the situation I witnessed. You know who should care about that? The people working at this location here right now, because that gentleman walked away with an entire case worth of mail. And that means a lot of people are going to be deeply disappointed when all of their checks are washed and added and put back into the system of the mob or the cartel or whomever else. They're going to be real pissed when they see that that is actually what happened with their money. Oh, but you're not going to tell them. Oh, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to put a sign on that mailbox or in the lobby to let people know that at that particular date and time, if they put mail in that mailbox, it was now gone. We're not going to do that. Oh, okay. Oh, because your manager won't let you do that? Interesting. So I give him my information. I drive along. I do a story on Instagram about it. And a friend of mine messages me right away. And she was like, hey, I bet it's a bigger crime ring than that. You should go to the cops. And I'm thinking, that seems dramatic. There's no way that that's the case. What is she talking about? But I'm like, let me continue to be the hero that I am and continue to use this as absolute street cred for heroic acts committed by one Kate Gaffney. And so I'm like, you know what? Tomorrow I will come back. I was not in the area. I was dog sitting very far away. And I was like, I will drive back to the area. I will go to the Van Nuys police station and I will report this crime, which is what I did. And the woman in front of me in line was reporting a murder. So you can imagine what these 16-year-old, not even yet beat cops who were stuck on desk duty had to say about me talking about some papers and checks being taken when the woman in front of me was talking about murder. These are both crimes. Both things described are crimes. One of them, probably a bigger deal, and it ain't the mail. So this tiny little baby cop says, oh, well, actually, the post office would have to physically come in here and report this themselves. I can't do anything about it. And I say, okay. So I just want it on record. There's nothing else I need to do. And he said, well, did you give them your information? And I said, yes. And he said, well, they should contact you. Should being the operative word. And so I go back to my not Hello Kitty car. I go back to the car that Wayne Brady gave me. And I say, hey, everybody, issue over. There's really nothing else I can do. That's a wrap. The cops don't care. Here we are. And of course, when you put things on social media, people have opinions, but also people can be pretty gangster. My friend Ashley, who I will shout out by name because she is gangster, we worked together for a while in this crazy place in Beverly Hills. It's not worth getting into. It was an insane job. And she's actually a super talented designer and a super awesome person. She messages me and she goes, "Girl, you are not going to believe this. I think this is you." And it was a screenshot of a Nextdoor conversation where a woman named Joni said, "Hey, if you've put mail in at the USPS in Sherman Oaks, I don't normally go to this post office, but I witnessed someone stealing mail, jump in his car and drive away. He had a key to the mailbox. This is a big deal." Now I'm thinking she probably witnessed it the same day I did. I was like, no way that this same idiot in his Hello Kitty go-kart is coming back through and doing the same thing again. And if you thought, of course it's the same guy, you have less hope for humanity than I do, because I was like, there's no way. The audacity. There's no way. I was wrong. It was the same doo-doo drawer looking dude with the mustache and the glasses and the hood up. I don't know that he had on dirty sweatpants like he did for me, so that might have been just a little treat for my eyes. But it was exactly the same guy. So Ashley sends me that, and I was like, I have to get in touch with this woman, but I have very little peace in my life because I have a constant temper and everything irritates me. So I can't be on Nextdoor or the Citizen app because, first of all, I'd find all the pedophiles and then I'd kill everyone and I'd be in prison. And also I would read every story and I would just go down every rabbit wormhole, and then I would lose my life to this. And people would be like, "Oh, didn't she at some point want to be in entertainment? What happened to her?" Well, she became a woman with very long nails who they turned yellow. Her teeth turned yellow. She got really old very, very quickly. She lives in a trailer. She's saving newspapers. Do they even print newspapers anymore? And she's peeing in a jar, a la Howard Hughes. That's what would happen to me if I had Nextdoor or the Citizen app. So I refuse to get both of them. However, I will get proxy rage if you screenshot them and send them to me, them being the stories that you see on either of those apps. I will microdose my own rage by reading those, and I'm happy to see them. So Ashley sends me this, and this woman describes the identical situation. It was not the same day. Hers happened on a Thursday in broad daylight. Mine happened on a Saturday in broad daylight. And I said, "Ashley, you have to give this woman my contact information. We have to connect." Ashley's a gangster. She did that. Joni and I connected. Joni is someone who has been on the planet a lot longer than I have. And so she and I I was able to explain some things to her that I knew from, just my technology experience. And then she was able to explain some historical USPS things to me that I did not know. And we had almost identical stories, except because she is a woman who has been on the planet longer than I have, she's part of that invisible class of people. So the manager treated her very differently than he treated me, and kept insisting to her there was nothing that could be done. And thanks for the info, but too bad, so sad. Well, then Joni goes on to tell me she thinks it's an inside job, and that location, if you looked on their Google reviews, a lot of people said actually they've made an arrest because a member of the staff was stealing mail. Here's the thing. That arrest allegedly happened a year ago. Ever since I reported this crime, this is not a bit, I'm missing mail. I was missing mail, one piece of mail that was going to be very sentimental. I missed before reporting this crime, but also after reporting this crime, there was a 3-week stretch where I got no mail at all. No mail at all. And I'm like, something is up. So anyway, I will come back to that, put a pin in that. So of course, nothing is done. Joni and I are now texting each other, having phone calls all the time, just getting worked up together. We're just gassing each other up in our rage. And I say, okay, well, I'm going to go back in there because that is my post office box. And there's no way that the postmaster general himself is going to reach out to me. And she said, yeah, the manager said that to me too. And I said, that is an elected position. He's in Washington, D.C. He is not getting on the horn to call 1K Gaffney and be like, tell me about the Hello Kitty go-kart doo-doo drawers guy who stole one thing of mail that you witnessed one time on a Saturday. I would hope that gentleman is busier than that. This is the equivalent of that in my head is if someone witnessed a murder and the response you witnessed a murder at a 7-Eleven and the owner of the 7-Eleven said, don't worry about it. Joe Biden will contact you for a statement shortly. What? No. or Kamala Harris is going to get on a plane and come interview you it is the equivalent. It's stupid. And I can't believe I believed it. It was just and of course, like I'm almost 2 months from when that initially happened and I reported it. Haven't heard a peep. So she and I are commiserating, and she goes, well, I'm contacting Brad Sherman. He's a representative for California. She goes, I'm contacting his office. This is the thing about being on the planet longer. You have more information when it comes to how to move things along up the flagpole when one area tells you no, especially women who have been on the planet longer. I so respect the fact that she knew she could just contact that office directly. And in my head, because I'm bitter and I think I know everything, I was like, no fucking way Brad Sherman is going to contact her, but cool, whatever. And she goes, you should do the same. And I was like, sure, I should. And I said, in the interim, I'm going to go back in. And she goes, well, did they give you the phone number to follow up on the case? And I said, no. And she goes, well, I'm going to give you that phone number. She gives me the phone number for reporting the crimes, which I'm like, oh, I got a direct pipeline to get this guy potentially in jail. Watch me call all the phone numbers. So I call, they put me through the rigmarole. They're like, sure, someone will contact you. I gave a description. I spoke pretty quickly, and she's like, got it. And I'm like, she didn't write everything down. She didn't write anything down. And she's like, our offices will contact you. They never have. They're not going to. It's just like, I was really scared to talk about this, to be not funny at all and be so dead ass serious, because I'm like, no matter who this is connected to, whether it's an inside job at the mail, I almost called it the mail stop, at the post office, or if it's some sort of like gang related activity or mob related, like I don't want no funk. This is why good people keep their mouths shut, because it's like, I don't want mess. I want a peaceful life. I'm already microdosing rage every day that I'm on the road or alive in the world. I don't need any extra help being mad. I just don't. So it's like nothing happened. I don't think anything is going to happen. Again, it's easier to be a pile of trash person. And I still haven't heard anything from anyone. So Joni and I, because Joni's cool, Joni and I have stayed in touch because I like her. And she said to me, one of the people that Joni contacted was Brad Sherman's office, and they responded. And here's what they said in their email to her. Suspect identified at Sherman Oaks Post Office. Per your email below, please know that our office has been in contact with the Sherman Oaks Post Office, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, and the Office of Inspector General regarding the series of mail theft incidents that have been reported at the Sherman Oaks Post Office. The post office confirms that a suspect has been identified. Moreover, this individual had been employed at the Sherman Oaks Post Office and has subsequently been let go. I don't know that I buy that. I trust Brad Sherman's people who wrote this back, but I don't know that I buy that this was just all an inside job. I'm advised that the Office of Inspector General has an open case into the matter, but I am not yet aware of an arrest. As the suspect has been identified as a postal employee or contractor, I'm advised that all incidents should be reported to the Office of Inspector General directly by calling, and it gave the number, and then selecting blah, blah, blah. You should be connected with a representative who will include your incident in their investigation. If you have supporting documentation that you would also like to provide to the Office of Inspector General, you may send it as an attachment to hotline at uspsoij.org, which people should send stuff to. I'm going to send them a picture of my butt. The post office also advises that all incidents of mail theft be reported to the Office of Postal Inspection Services by calling blah, blah, blah. You should be connected with a representative who will file a report. Lastly, I'm advised that any mail theft involving a loss totaling more than $1,000 constitutes a felonious crime and should also be reported to local law enforcement by calling blank or filing a report online by following this link. Thank you for alerting our office to the situation, and please let us know if you have any difficulty with any of the above. Regards, John Alford, Office of the Congressman of Brad Sherman. Here's the thing. John is the most responsive and best representation of crime being crimed against. And everyone else, it's a shit show. I don't understand why this hasn't gone further. I don't understand why there hasn't been some sort of acknowledgement of the fact that I have a photo of the Hello Kitty golf cart and also the guy. Well, I don't have a picture of him, but I have a picture of his golf cart and also his license plate. So I mean, theoretically, if you go to but again, this is the other thing that really chaps my ass. The number of people whose registrations on their cars are not current. I'm like, that says 2023. That was last year. How come I paid almost $550 for my registration for the car that Wayne Brady gave me. And I was like, this is a lot of US American dollars. This is what people are leaving California. Besides the cost, this mail theft, are other places taking mail theft seriously? I don't know. And I will say this. It really, 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 really relentlessly chaps my ass that customer service changes based on your age. Just because Joni has been on the planet longer doesn't make her claims any less valid. And just because she's been on the planet longer doesn't mean that she's senile or doesn't know what she's talking about. This is the problem, especially as women. We need to go to things in numbers. It's not enough when one person says it. And when I went to the guy, him being like, again, I don't understand. It's like, what do you mean you don't understand? You haven't caught him. You haven't done anything to move forward with him. When I called the office of Tweedledee and Tweedledum or whatever to try and report this myself, I asked if there was a pending criminal report or investigation at the Sherman Oaks police or the Sherman Oaks post office to see if I was making a redundant claim. And they said, no, we can't find your name. We can't find a report. So that means Home Dude that I initially reported this to, it was either one of the people involved, which to be clear, I saw him one other time because I went back in there and I said to him, hey, what's going on with that? And he's like, oh, I'm really surprised I haven't contacted you. Like, I don't know. I sent all the information out. I don't know. And I said, why don't we put a sign out there that says the dates that things happened? Because then I mentioned, I go, and also Joni and I connected, and he goes, oh, and like kind of was taken aback. And I said, yeah. And I said, she witnessed it a different day. So don't you think you should let the customers know that their mail is gone? And he said, oh, that's a really good idea. I should mention that to my manager. What he told her when she made that suggestion was, oh, we're not allowed to do that. That's illegal. Well, which is it? Either you're going to do it, which I went back the several days later and there was still no sign there. I knew he wasn't going to do it. He was just blowing me off differently than he was blowing her off. But your age and your amount of time on the planet should not undercut the severity or seriousness with which your descriptions, complaints, filings should be taken. And I know it's so part of the zeitgeist right now to be like, oh, it's such a Karen. We're conflating things because reporting crime that affects you as well as a person in the world and especially a citizen of this country, because it is mail theft. Mail theft is, even if I take a single piece of mail out of someone's post office box or their mailbox, that is a felonious crime. Just a piece of mail, because it is federally protected that my mail will get to me. And I'm super disappointed that the person inside of the post office at Sherman Oaks stole particularly one piece of mail that had sentimental things in it. I'm really disappointed that happened, but at least I'm not trying to rescue my business, which one man I guess he responded on the Nextdoor thread complaint situation. I don't totally understand how Nextdoor works, but I guess you can make a post and then neighbors can comment on it. And I guess his comment on Joni's post about it was, he had $75,000 worth of checks stolen. He was delinquent on all of his payments because they stole all of his checks. They washed them. They added new amounts to them. He had to close his business for 6 months to try and handle this because he was trying to get the bank to cover the money because he had the money to make those different check payments. But as soon as these criminal idiots washed all the checks and made new totals, he lost all of his money for a period of time. Shuttering your business for 6 months can mean shuttering your business permanently. Mail theft is actually a much bigger deal than I knew. And it's the wild, wild west. You can get away with so much. It's kind of like internet crime. It's like how we keep up with it is insane. And I had no idea that the post office was as young as it is, because that explains to me slightly, I guess, why things are the way they are. But it doesn't, I don't know. It's really disappointing that there's no consequences and that the customer service options presented to both me and Joni were blow us off so that they didn't have to deal with it. I get it that everybody's kind of out of the ability to care and everybody feels kind of maxed out in life. I totally get it. But if your job isn't at least partially protecting the things that people bring to the post office from criminals, I'm not saying take a bullet. No mail is worth that. Sorry. Like if they're coming in with a gun, whatever, like give them all of the mail. They can have the birthday card sent from Mima. But if you know that they have a key, I don't understand why the customer service move wasn't, let me show you the report I filed on behalf of you and the report I filed on behalf of Joni to prove to you that I did this, because it's clear you don't believe me because you shouldn't, because I'm involved. There was no next step. It was just get me to shut up. Then further follow-up. When I went those 3 weeks without mail and I was hot about it, I got in line, I waited like a nice person, and I said, I went to this one woman who is so checked out. She just is so, she's always very nice to me and I like her just fine, but she takes so much shit. Like people cut that line all the time to just go talk to the counter, and it's always a very busy location and it's so frustrating. And she just kind of rolls with it because what's the point? I get it. But I went to her and I said, is it possible that to get back at me for something, someone set up mail forwarding so that all of my mail that is supposed to be going to my post office box is going to them? And she explained, she said, now we require identification for mail forwarding. We require two forms of ID and proof that that is your actual physical address or at least your post office box. And she said, so it would be impossible basically for someone to have set up mail forwarding for your mail. And I said, okay, it just seems so odd to me that it's been 3 weeks without a piece of mail. I said, is it possible? And she said, look, I don't think that it is, but you can talk to the sort of head guy. And I thought it would be the same dude that I reported the initial crime to. It was not. It was this other guy who was gruff and angry. And I walked up to him and I said, look, is it possible that mail forwarding, I was told to speak to you, because she pointed it out. She goes, go talk to him. He can answer that for you. So I said, hey, could you just check my post office box? Like, because I had lost my key. So I thought maybe someone also had my key and was stealing. I didn't know. And he said, well, you can sign up for informed delivery. And that's about all you can do. And he goes, but who told you to come talk to me? Because no mail forwarding can be set up without your consent. And I said, well, I mean, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. He goes, who told you? And I said, I'm not here to get anyone in trouble. I said, I wanted to speak with you. Could you please check? He went in the back. He probably did 3 jumping jacks, wished me dead, and came back out front and said, oh, I checked. There's no mail forwarding on your post office box. Because theoretically, I should get a new lock and new keys since I lost one of my keys. Fine. I can own that part. But I signed up for informed delivery, as he suggested. It told me none of the mail that was coming. It hasn't worked at all. Hasn't worked at all. And I've gone to the post office anyway, and I've picked up the mail that has been there because now I'm getting mail again because I guess maybe they did catch that guy or I don't know. I got an email today in the year of our Lord 2024 where it is said, hey, your informed delivery is showing you this piece of mail or whatever. And I open it and it is a piece of mail from the United States Postal Service to my mailbox. I probably should have waited to go get that mail before I recorded this episode because it could be related to this, but I doubt it. That's how little faith I have in this whole process. And I thought it was so interesting and ironic that all of a sudden, several weeks later, my informed delivery all of a sudden works. And I'm all of a sudden being told what my mail is because, ma'am, the only reason that you are informing me of this said delivery is literally only because it is from the United States Postal Service directly. Because if you stole that mail and or didn't tell me it was in there, I'd say something. That's the only reason. And that's the kind of customer service shit I can't stand. You only do your job when the consequences are big enough. This is the problem with the rich people being able to hoard wealth because we're too informed now. And now everybody's just filled with constant rage. So everybody feels entitled to a little bit more. It's why it's so much easier to be a pile of trash person. And that everyone's like, well, I don't care. I'm not doing it unless I'm being watched or unless my boss is here or whatever. There was a little bit of that, working apathy when I first started in customer service 100 years ago. But you didn't go off on the boss. You didn't quit after 30 seconds. Like there were just so many things you just didn't do that now everyone's like, yeah, I don't care. fuck it. Like, let's, this job doesn't matter. Kick rocks. Nothing matters. Whatever. I understand the peasants revolt I identify with, and I think we should still move forward with that plan. So somebody come meet me behind the barn and let's sort that out. But I don't agree with this apathetic because if what it feels like now is customer service has largely become, how do I get this person out of my face? That's it. Just how do I get this person out of my face? Even if you've been a long-standing customer, and I don't want to tell this story because I didn't ask her if I could, but I have a friend who's been using the same florist for a while, and who the florist, she specifically goes to this florist because they're independent, and she calls them directly, and she ordered a specific bouquet and they sent the wrong bouquet. And the person she sent the bouquet to sent a picture and said, lovely, thank you so much. Like, didn't know. But then my friend called them and said, hey, I ordered the deluxe version of this bouquet. And the color scheme is completely wrong. These are not the flowers I ordered, and I paid for the deluxe, and she tipped 25% on top of that. And the owner of the flower shop, and she's been using this flower shop for ages, the owner of the flower shop in Los Angeles in the year of our Lord 2024 said to her, that's a picture of the backside of the bouquet. And that was it. Not, here's 25% off the next time you use us. We're going to send her a dozen roses as an apology. We're going to send her 3 roses. We're going to send her a piece of chocolate and a freaking high five. Like nothing. And she's been a customer of theirs for years. They could see that with her order history. And she calls them directly and deals with them directly. And it was the owner of the flower shop being like, that sucks, but it's a bad picture, is basically what he said. I'm like, if customer service has only become, please just get out of my face, how do we, like, the bar is in hell, as everyone says. And it's so true. It's not just for dating. It's also for customer service. If someone is even the teensiest bit nice to me in a customer service experience, or goes above and beyond, meaning they like look me in the eye, I'm like, wow, that is Michelin star service right there. That is the best I have ever been taken care of as a customer. That's insane. That is insane when someone doing not even the bare minimum, but just showing up for work in a uniform, and we're like, look at these heroes. My goodness, we should really give them some sort of military salute that they have chosen to enter the threshold of their job. Not only did they get up this morning and put on the uniform, but also they got in the car, drove to the job, got out of the car, and entered the threshold of the job. That's where we're telling people that they're doing a good job in customer service. I just am so tired of being on the receiving end of just get out of my face. Just get out of my face. Just get out of my face. I can't. And I love Trader Joe's so much and sponsor the show. I just love them, and I love their food and their prices and blah, 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 blah. Sponsor the show. But I went to return, I bought the wrong sugar for this thing I needed. And so I went to return it, and I had to go kind of out of my way because they're not everywhere. I walked up to the counter, and the guy was like, oh, well, did you want to do, I explained the situation. He goes, oh, did you want to do the exchange? And I was like, no, I don't need it now. Like, I already got the sugar that I needed. I already had it, whatever. And he goes, oh, okay. Well, did you want to return this now, or do you want to wait till you come back? Sir, what? I am in the grocery store right now. You think I want to give myself yet another errand in the adult crises of an unending list of errands? You think I want to add an errand, which is the errand I am currently on? You think I want to hit the Zach Morris pause button in the middle of said errand and be like, you know what? I'm going to abandon ship. I'm going to get back in my car. I'm going to go sit on the 405 again for another 6.5 hours just to get home. And I'm going to make this errand happen in the future because I like to emotionally cut on additional errands. Shut up. Or like, and he was very nice. He was very nice, and I love Trader Joe's, and I did do the exchange, and like he was so lovely to me, and I had forgotten to bring my credit card inside, and he goes, oh, we can't really give cash, but he's like, it's fine. He was being so nice to me. I think because he knew that what he offered was dumb, and he said, well, because I was dumb, I'm going to fix this right now. But I don't understand. I feel like we haven't learned enough about traumatic brain injuries for how people are just interacting with the world. We also haven't learned enough about depression and apathy and how those two things go together, or depression and rage. Hello, I am a case study in that, and how those things go together, because I sometimes want to talk to people in these customer service settings and be like, do you need to lie down? Not even are you okay? Because that answer is no. It's demonstrably you are not okay. Would you like a little pillow and a napkin blanket that I can just grab from the front here and I'll just put napkins on your tiny body and I'll dim the lights in here because who cares? Customer service is a joke anyway. And I'm just going to let you take a little nip nap because something's going on and I'm concerned for your well-being because it's clear you're not well. Did you come to work today after getting in a very serious car wreck last night? Did you come to work today after being drafted to the NFL for the last 10 years of your life? There's questions that have answers that would make sense in these situations. But the customer service model of just get out of my face, or what can I do to get you off the phone, or what can I do to just not make this a legal issue is really a bummer. It's really just a bummer. And that I got to check your work and check this person's work and do that. Like, I didn't come to your place of business to have to check your homework. You know, it's not like this place of business required you to fill out a worksheet and then you hand me the worksheet and I say whether or not the worksheet is correct. I don't understand. I don't understand. And also with the mail crime thing, that didn't affect me. It's affecting me now because some jackass on the inside is stealing my frickin' mail and it's really upsetting. But largely, I don't think I've ever put mail in that because the lobby's open 24 hours a day. So I always go inside to drop my mail off. I don't think I've ever left my mail in that particular post office or that particular mailbox. So it didn't affect me. And it would have taken way less time and way less energy for me to be like, that fucking sucks. That dude's got a key. Note to self, don't use that mailbox. And I'm certain he's been doing it for a while. So I'm certain a bunch of other people saw that and were like, note to self, don't frickin' don't put your mail in there. But like, that's not the solution either. But I understand why people immediately slide into apathy because me reporting this, if this has some bigger crime ring, is dangerous. And I value peace in my life, not at all demonstrated by how I live my life, but like I do actually value peace. And I don't understand, like there's just no consequences. There's no consequences. So if you have a key and you want to steal mail, even though it's a felony, which the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony, I'm going to look up. Felonies and misdemeanors are two levels of criminal offenses. Misdemeanors are less serious crimes where the maximum sentence is not more than 1 year in jail. Felonies are far more serious crimes where the potential sentence is more than 1 year in jail or prison. So at best for mail theft, you're going to be in prison for 2 years. At best case scenario. Because it is a felony. We have categorized that crime because it is a big deal because you can actually destroy people by having just one utility bill and one other piece of identifying information, which is how things, it's a way that stuff is sent in the mail with identifying information. You can open full-on lines of credit. I heard of a production company getting opened in the name of someone else just because they had a utility bill. I mean, there is chaos that is absolutely possible that could really alter the course of your life via mail theft. It is actually that big of a deal. And the fact that it's being handled as a just get out of my face kind of customer service, it's like, I understand if I'm getting a soy latte, gross. No, if I'm getting like an almond milk latte and I come back up to you and I'm like, this shit ain't hot enough. And then you boil the crap out of it to the point where I am in pain. I get that level of passive aggressive. I get it because we're not at your house. And when you want things done in such a specific way, do it at home. I get that frustration. But when someone's telling you, hey, there's a criminal element to your business stealing right underneath your nose, happening today. I just witnessed it. And you're like, the guy at the head of this entire federal agency is absolutely going to reach out to you. And I didn't slap that dude in the face and say, who trained you? Where's your mom? I need to have a chat with her. I just was like, okay, I guess I'll hear from Doug. That'll be a neat conversation. Not knowing, Douglas ain't about to call me. But I don't know. There's no there's no good that can come from this, folks. I don't know how we make these changes because largely if you're listening to this show, you've already shown yourself to be empathetic and lovely and wonderful, because why else would you listen to this other than for the insane stories that people tell? I have no real solution here. I mean, obviously, if you have also noticed this, customer service has become just get out of my face. If you've noticed that, message me. I can commiserate. I will follow up and let you know if that letter had anything to do with anything with this mail theft, but every piece of me seriously doubts it. It's probably sending me another bill for the pleasure of paying for my post office box that is almost $300 a year now. It's probably something else that maybe, Wayne Brady can make go away or whatever. But also like pay your car registration on time, or I drive behind you annoyed because why do I have to do it and you don't? That's the thing. This is all this comes down to, is that I'm a brat and I'm like, if I'm going to follow the rules, because I am a rules person, you better also follow the rules, because following the rules is harder. Following the rules is way more annoying, but it does make you insufferable at parties, which is kind of an aim of mine. So I do like telling people about themselves and saying like, wow, I am filled to the brim with so much morality, you would choke. Like you could never. Much like I could never be an Olympic athlete, you could never be this moral. You would never drive to the police department after you had already reported this crime. I am to the brim with morality and ethics. I am queen of ethics town. It's not true, but yeah. I mean, it is easier to live a life of crime. It's great that you guys choose not to. I'm assuming if you listen to this, I speed a lot. I speed every time I have an opportunity. I speed, and that is breaking the law. It's not a felony, I don't think, unless it's like over, I think it's over 20 miles per hour. It's a felonious amount of miles per hour or kilometers or whatever. Who cares? I'm making it all up. Anyway, the summary, I'm filled with ethics. I'm Batman. And Doug and I are going to become buddies once he calls me and has my personal phone number. It's probably on a break from lobbyists jerking him off in the bathroom to get them to not have to pay some sort of post fees or whatever. But customer service has become, how do I get this person out of my face, which is great. And we're just at this place in life where I don't know what the solution is. I'm just going to keep complaining about it. And good luck to all the Olympic athletes. That's really where we've arrived. That's where we've arrived. So I did not come to your job. I'm not clocked in at your job. So I did not come to your job to do it for you or to tell you how it should be done. You should just do it. And putting a sign on a post office box where someone has a key and they're stealing mail pretty regularly, the least that you could do is probably slap a little Post-it on there that's like, hey, don't put mail in this. Here's the thing. It lends itself to a class action lawsuit because Nextdoor blew up about this. And then if you go to their Google reviews, I have one on there too, where I'm like, yo, I'm scared to write this review, but I'm writing it. Don't put your mail outside, because I want my hero cape to be, what's the word when it's like dipped in gold? Bronzed? No, that would be if it were dipped in Bronzegate. That's good. Leave this in. Whatever it is, when something is dipped in gold, I want my hero cape dipped in gold for all that I did. And that's really the whole point of this episode. I don't care about customer service. I don't care about anything. I care about accolades. Clap. Somebody better be clapping in their car right now listening to this, because I'm a hero. Anyway, nothing happened. I will update y'all. I'm sure you're waiting with bated breath to know what happens. My guess is it will be nothing, and that'll just be that. My dumbass though, I was at the post office that I am dragging through hell right now yesterday, and there were 8 or 9 of those property of the United States Postal Service, those white bins that Hello Kitty's #1 fan stole a handful of weeks ago. There were like 8 or 9 of them stacked to the right of that post office, or of that mailbox outside. And my stupid ass, I looked at that and I go, oh, I'll bet the guy returned them. Oh, I'll bet the guy returned them. Yeah, the guy who is committing felonious acts every other day, probably every day, decided he didn't want to keep those post office freaking containers and drove them in his golf cart back to the scene of the crime and said, you know what? I'll keep the mail, but I'll be damned if I'm keeping these containers. That is the same as a bank robber getting all of the bills put in those little cash bags and then saying, you know what? I got too many of these cash bags because I've done too many crimes, too many robberies. I'm going to bring these back to you. I'm going to promptly leave, but I'm going to bring these back to you. You're welcome. And for the 13 cents that saves you, I will be keeping the millions I've stolen, but here are the cash bags. Cool. The bar's in hell. Customer service is now, get out of my face. I don't know what we do. Someone's tell me you want to be on the show and talk to me about solutions, because I am out of them and I'm just mad all the time. Also pay your car registration or you're pissing me off. And yeah, I'm a golden hero. All right. Thank you folks so much for listening to yet another bonus episode of the Olympics of Mail Theft. Good luck to our Olympic athletes. DM me with questions, comments, concerns. And if you know Doug personally, tell him I said, what's up? Where's that phone call? Where's it? He don't call. He don't write. Where's he at? That's going to do it for us here at Service from Hell this week. Thank you folks so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Good night.